What up? What it is? What's happening, YouTube? It's your boy Srtfied, and I'm back with another video for y'all, man. If this is your first time on this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button ASAP. For those that are already subscribed, I appreciate y'all. Welcome back to the channel. I just crossed over the 200 subscriber mark, and I thank y'all so much. I really do. As y'all can see, I'm in my Patriots gear. Go Patriots. Today is the official kickoff of the NFL season, so I got a rep for my team. I know some of y'all hate it, some of y'all love it. It is what it is. I'm true to my team. I'm not a bandwagon fan, none of that. I'm a true Patriots fan, ride or die. But that being said, I'm on my way right now to hit up one of these sports bars to catch these games today. So on my way to the games, well, on the way to the sports bars to watch the games, I decided to go talk about a topic that a lot of people been asking me. Since day one on my first video, I'm sure a lot of y'all realized that I'm part of a car club. The car club's name is Street Predators. Street Predators Jacks for Jacksonville chapter. We have many chapters throughout the United States, and I'm in the Jacksonville chapter. So shout out to Street Predators. We out here. But that being said, a lot of people have asked me since, you know, they started tuning into the channel, like, hey, how is it being part of a car club? I'm interested in being part of a car club. And some have actually been asking me how to start a car club, what does it take, so far and so on. I'm gonna do another video as far as what it takes to start a car club. Though I'm a part of a car club, I used to have my own car club. That car club kind of, you know, fell apart, and I had to disband that car club for specific reasons. But it's a lot of work that goes into starting your own car club and actually keeping that name relevant. It's pretty much a full-time job, to be honest with you. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of being in the car club, as it could be a good thing or a bad thing. It all depends on what your interests are, and all depends on what you're trying to accomplish of being in the car club, or what you want to get out of being in a car club. So that's what we're talking about today. So sit back, relax. I hope y'all enjoy this video. I hope y'all get some good information out of this. So that being said, let's get this thing going. Alright, so for the first thing we're going to talk about is the pros. First pro that I can think of is the whole second family aspect, or as some of y'all may call it, a brotherhood. Being part of a car club, you know, it gives you the ability to make friends, and to feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself, and to, you know, establish a brotherhood with people that have the same type of mindset as yours. And what I mean by that is being a car enthusiast. Being part of a car club, the best way I can describe a car club to anybody is that it's a fraternity of guys and girls who are car enthusiasts. To keep it very simple, that's what it is, a fraternity of guys and girls who are car enthusiasts. Each car club is different. Their rules are different, their bylaws are different, but for the most part, it's very simple. It's not simple, but similar. It's very similar. Everybody's car enthusiasts, you know, everybody loves their cars, everybody likes to show off their cars, and you know, everybody likes to be seen in their nice cars. So that's one of the biggest pros, or the first biggest pro that I would say of being a car club is that brotherhood that you establish. I'm sorry, I had to look down because I got these things written down, and I don't want to get off track, and I want to kind of, you know, make sure I hit every widget that I thought of, the positives of being in a car club. So the second one is the knowledge that you can gain. So a lot of people, you know, they have talked to me and they're like, well, I don't know much about cars. I don't, you know, I love my car. I want to do some things in my car, but I don't know much about cars in general. The good part about being in a car club is that you can gain that experience. There are so many people in car clubs that, you know, have experience in anything. I'm talking about experience on how to fix your car, experience on how to customize, modify your car, doing maintenance on your car. A lot of times, especially if your vehicle is out of warranty and, you know, something happens to your car, a lot of times you have somebody in that club that knows how to work on cars and does good work. I'm not talking about somebody who's gonna do shady work and, you know, you're gonna break down weeks or months later because the work wasn't done right. No, you have people in car clubs that actually know what they're doing. Sometimes you may even run into somebody that is a certified mechanic in the car club. So once you cross over and become official, you have that benefit of going to those members and getting work done for a very discounted price, way cheaper than where you'll find anywhere else, or sometimes, depending on what the job is, you'll get it done for free. So yeah, you definitely gain that experience. Also in the experience realm, as far as what to do modification-wise to your car, a lot of times we have the Google search. You know, sometimes even the Google search doesn't really help you because you run into, you know, modifications that are rare, and, you know, a lot of people have done those modifications. Or you just simply want to see what something looks like before you actually buy it. You know, me, I'm the type of person that I need to see it. I need to see a modification to kind of give me an idea of what I want to do. Doesn't mean that I want to actually copycat what that person did to their car. Sometimes I just need that small modification that they've done to their ride to kind of piece everything together that I want to do. So you gain the experience in modification. And just seeing what's out there. You know, some people aren't very well versed as far as modifications, like where to buy the modifications, or just, you know, what's out there to do on these cars. Some people just don't know. You know, you can't knock those people that don't have that knowledge, but being in a car club gives you that knowledge. You ride out, you know, and it's not even just being in that car club. When you ride out and you go to different car meets or car shows, trust me, you will see things that you probably would have never thought of doing to your car, and it just gives you that inspiration. So that's the second thing that I would say is a pro of being in a car club. Third is another thing. If you're even interested in being in a car club or starting a car club, I'm pretty sure you love your car. I will hope you love your car, otherwise what's the point of being in one? But the biggest thing of owning your car and modifying your car is to be seen. Is to have that street respect, that street credit. When you pull up to a meet, there's no better feeling than being at a car meet or at a car show and everybody's just breaking their necks at your car. Like, everybody's like, man, that is clean. Wow. Like, people are taking pictures. People want to pose by your car. Models come over, want to take pictures with your car. Ton of people want to add. It's almost like your car is that celebrity. You know, it's that red carpet feeling. You know, that's the positive of being in a car club as well. Is even if you don't have the sickest car in the street right now, you can have the most basic, straight from the dealership car. When you pull up with your crew, and y'all are pulling in 10, 15, 20, or even more cars deep, it draws attention. It just demands that, yeah, we here, we out here, you know. It just demands that respect. Whether they respect it or not, it just pauses that moment, just that brief moment what everybody's doing. It just grabs everyone's attention, and it feels good. It feels good. So that I would think that would be the third positive of being in a car club. Number 4, I would say, is the community respect. So being in a car club, majority of the car clubs that I know, besides going to car meets, car shows, and, you know, just the fun aspect of it, not that this part that I'm about to talk about isn't fun, but the community service aspect. You know, you always, if you want your car club to succeed, if you want your car club to be known in these streets, just for showing up and that you have numbers, but for actual positive things, you have to give back to the community in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's through community service, as far as doing something with an organization like Habitat for Humanity, or Adopt a Highway, or anything like that. Anything that's part of another organization, to where, you know, they get to recognize what your club is and what your club stands for, and recognizing that name. That name is the biggest thing of a car club. If nobody knows your name, you really don't have that street respect that you're looking for of being in the car scene, unless you have one of the sickest rides on the block. You know, that's the only way to get that street credit. If you're in a car club, you know, you need to do stuff for the community. You have to give back, and to be honest with you, you kind of have to have a joy of giving back to the community, or the less fortunate, and do things that represent your club. You know, so that community respect, you know, goes a long way. You'll actually be able to, you know, get some pull and some people that support you. It's almost like a support system outside of the car scene. So the community aspect is one of the big things of being in the car club as well, especially if you're actively involved in your community. Next, I'm going to talk about, and this kind of goes into hand in hand with the community respect, is the potential for getting sponsorships and getting discounts at specific retailers, you know, for your car. Like, let's say hypothetically AutoZone or wheel sponsors. AutoZone was an example, but yeah, anything, wheel sponsors, detailing sponsors, anything for your car, tire sponsors. You have that potential to have access to that, especially if you're joining a car club that's already well established, that has a good system going on, that is, you know, respected in the community, that has a name going for themselves. You have clubs that have a ton of sponsorships, to where you have access to upgrades on your car, or just general maintenance on your car for a discounted price, and sometimes free. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about from authorized, certified dealers. I'm not just talking about free stuff like I was saying earlier. You know, you have access to friends in the car club, or people that are in the car club that does that type of work. I'm talking about actual certified people that are certified and can warranty that type of work. You get discounts, you know, discounts, sponsorships is huge. You have access to all of that, and the potential to have access to all of that. So that's another pro of being in a car club. The last pro that I was able to think of is, especially if you're in a car club that's big enough, that has multiple chapters in different states. If you travel, prime example, if you saw my recent videos when I went to Virginia, my home state, I went up there to visit my family, and our main chapter, where the actual Street Predator name started, is in Virginia. So when I went home, guess what? I was able to link up with that chapter and have a good time. Now, some car clubs actually have clubhouses, similar to what motorcycle clubs have, clubhouses and things of that nature. So you're able to, you know, connect with those people, because overall you're a big family. Even though you don't know them, just because you're in the club and you're an official member, they treat you like family. They treat you, you know, they'll show you around. You can get in contact if anything goes wrong. You have a support system in that other state, just because you're a part of the club. So that is a huge pro, in my opinion, of being in a car club. And, you know, even if you don't need that support system, if you know, go out of town, sometimes when you go out of town, you run into days when there's really nothing to do. All your friends that live out of town, they're at work, your family, you know, they have lives, you know, as well. So they have things going on that could potentially, you know, get you in a phase where you're just bored, you know. And with a car club chapter in that area, you have the potential to, you know, link up with them to where you're not bored. You have stuff to do, you know. You have, whether it's an event, like the event that happened, the back to school drive that happened when I went to Virginia. You have an event that you can go to, or you can just link up with somebody and ride out, go wash your cars, or link up for a drink, or get something to eat, anything, you know. You have an activity to do. So that's a huge pro, in my opinion, of being in a car club. So that's gonna wrap up the pros of being in a car club. For those that are watching my video that are in car clubs, if you want to comment below and let me know some of the pros that you feel are of being in a car club, make sure y'all hit the comments below, man. So that brings me to the negatives of being in a car club. And in my opinion, these negatives don't deter me from being in a car club, because I guess I'm just gonna say my maturity, or just the experience that I've had of being in a car club, and just the person that I am, you know, it doesn't really affect me like that. So for me, it's a negative just because I see it happening and I see it all the time, but it's not such a negative that really puts a bad taste in my mouth of being in a car club. So the first negative that I can think of is people that, like I was talking about the pros of, you know, establishing that brotherhood and family, is fake family. And what I mean by fake family is people who join the car club and you don't really notice until things start going bad, because every car club, it always has that roller coaster effect. You have your up times and you have your down times. It's just like your own family. You have your times when you're in good standings, y'all all having a good time, no drama, nothing. And then you have your moments when you hit a bump, you know, and you just gotta sort through that, and you gotta figure it out, and you gotta make it work. And that's how you build that family. In those lows is when you realize who's really your family. And in those lows is when you also realize who's truly, you know, supportive or really here for the club that you're in. And sometimes it causes people to leave the club and join other clubs. And me personally, to be honest with you, people who leave the club, I respect people who leave the club more than the people who stay in the club and feed into the drama. I'd rather people leave the club. Don't be that cancer to spread drama. If you don't like where you're at, leave. You know what I'm saying? And me personally, if I develop that friendship with you while you're in the club, that friendship is not going to determine whether or not you're with the club. We're friends because we're friends. And I think that the fake family aspect is that people get sidetracked and they get so hung up on a name. You know, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm with Street Predators right now, and there's a lot of people in Street Predators that I've formed close friendships with since being in that club. If something happens and they decide to leave the club, whether it's to leave the club for good and just roll solo and just not join the club no more, whether it's them leaving the club and then joining another club because they feel they're a better fit in that club, or if they decide to start their own club, that friendship does not affect my friendship with them. That friendship was built because I met you in the club. That friendship was built because we vibed, we had something in common, and we, you know, it's just, we developed that friendship. So to me, my loyalty is to my friendship. My loyalty is not to our friendship because you're with Street Predators, you know. And I feel like a lot of people get sidetracked with that, and that's how the stigma of, you know, car clubs, you know, not getting along with each other, and everybody, you know, when people leave or whatnot, everybody's just beefing and they got drama and stuff going on. People lose sight of that friendship. It's like, yo, y'all were friends because y'all decided to be friends. You know, whatever happened for y'all to decide to be friends, it just, y'all decided to be friends. If your friendship is determined by a club that you're with, then that friendship was never really real from jump. You know, so that's what I mean by fake friends. A lot of people, you know, they claim to, you know, be a friend and they're down for you, but the minute they leave, they feel like, oh, well, he's no longer or she's no longer in the club, so I'm not their friend. I'm not going to talk to them no more. It's like, what? Like, I don't understand it. Like, it makes no sense to me. The second con of being in a car club is those people who join the club who are selfish. And what I mean by selfish is those people who join the club for personal gain. People who feel like, okay, you know, and this never fails. You can always, those clubs that are well established and that have a lot of people in the club, a lot of cars, those be the clubs that, you know, a lot of people want to join just because, you know, they see, oh man, they ride clean, they're deep, you know, it's a lot of people, you know, it draws more attention. The more people you have in the club, it definitely draws more attention. So it in a marketing sense, it makes people want to join. They feel like, oh, something's good going on over there, so that's the team I want to be on. The problem with that is you also draw a lot of people who aren't really truly down for the family. People who are selfishly motivated, you know, whether it's their personal business, whether it's something that they want to do for themselves or whatnot, and they try to capitalize off of the club aspect and the things the club has going on, and they try to use that for their personal gain. And then they try to influence or suggest things in the club that ultimately benefits them. Yes, it benefits the club, otherwise they wouldn't bring it up. But in behind the scenes, it mainly benefits that person. And once they get to the point of where they want to be, whatever they're trying to do, they either leave the club or they try to make it seem like the club owes them some type of respect, or the club owes them some type of acknowledgement, or sometimes back pay, because they were able to put the club on the map, what they call it. But in reality is they were trying to put themselves on the map by using the club. So you have those people that do that sometimes, and it's sad. It's sad. You see it all the time. People try to capitalize off the club, and what sucks with that, and the negative on that, is the fact that when you're part of a car club, it literally takes every single person in that car club to make that car club work. It's a full-time job for everybody. It's something that, you know, if you have that one person that's constantly a Debbie Downer, it's a domino effect. It affects everybody, and then things just go sour from that point on. So it takes everyone to put in work to make this club, to make a club work in general. So it like I said, it's when you have people that are selfishly motivated, it's just not a good thing. It's just not a good thing. The next thing that I will say is a negative or a con of being part of a car club is you kind of become a target in these streets. And what I mean by target, I don't necessarily mean that you have people out to get you. That's not what I'm necessarily talking about. Now, that being said, depending on the type of person you are and depending on the type of crowd you like to be around, you could become a personal target. So sometimes people, you know, they try to say that, oh, well, car clubs are similar to being in a gang. It's definitely not similar, but I can see how some people can compare the two, because especially those car clubs that are constantly involved in drama, they're constantly, you know, doing things that are just, you know, they're young-minded, they're immature, and people just do dumb stuff. So it kind of brings a bad light to that club, and people start associating those bad things with that name, and then you start, you know, anywhere you go, if you carry that name, people start looking at you crazy. So yeah, I can see how people can make that comparison. So, but it's just, like I said, it all depends on the type of club that you join and the type of situations you put yourself in. The target I'm kind of referring to is with the police. Mainly, I'm gonna say with the police mainly, because being in a car club, Majority of the car clubs that I know, you know, there's a time and place for everything. However, everybody that enjoys their cars, everybody likes to have fun. Whether it's to play loud music, whether it's to, you know, run to the streets of Mexico sometimes just to, you know, have bragging rights. I will say, take it to the track, y'all. Take it to the track. Don't be in Mexico. You know, a lot of people get hurt that way. But in reality, I'd be a hypocrite to say that I don't do it myself. So be safe. Do it. Like I said, do it in a safe environment, and there's a time for everything. But in doing so, you can become a target, you know, especially in clubs where people consistently get pulled over, people constantly, you know, do reckless things. That name, people start, you know, the police starts to recognize, man, we're constantly pulling over these people that have the same badge, the same name. You start to become a target. So even if you're that person that, you know, just chills, you don't really get into that. Yeah, you enjoy it, you like to be around it, but that's not you. You know what I'm saying? You just kind of like to come out, have fun, and leave. But because majority of the people in that club are doing that and they're drawing that negative attention, you become a target. So you can be the one that does nothing wrong and then randomly gets pulled over, or you just so happen to, you know, make a small mistake. You roll through a stop sign or whatever, and the officer that pulls you over just so happens to be one of the officers that's constantly pulling over and seeing the dumb stuff people are doing with that name that you're associated with, and they're going to give you a hard time. So choose wisely. If you're interested in being in a car club, choose wisely, because that can be a con of being in a car club. That kind of goes into my next topic, and that's rivalries with other clubs. So like I said, with the whole fake friends and, you know, people who, you know, value their friendship based on the name or club that you're with, 9 times out of 10 when people, and this happens so much, people join car clubs, majority of the people love being a part of it and they just kind of do their own thing. But then you have those certain few that are, you know, they see something good and they're like, you know what, I think I can do that, and I think I can do it better. And then if, you know, they start going hard for a club and they feel like they should be in a certain position in a club, because every club has a chain of command. You have your president, your vice president, your treasurer, your secretary, your row captains, your public relations officer, aka pro. You have so many different positions and titles. People get hung up on a title instead of just following their passion and letting their passion speak for themselves. People get so hung up like, well, I've been part of a club for so long, so if a president or if their group, their officers group decides that, okay, well, we need another row captain, or we need another vice president for another chapter or whatever, and they feel like someone else is a better fit, some people get butthurt by that. They're like, man, I was part of this club for so long, so I feel like I deserve to be in that spot. And it's like, you know, you never know why people make the decisions that they make. But because of that, sometimes people tend to leave the club, or they feel like, you know what, I feel like I deserve this spot, but because I didn't get picked, I'm leaving. I'm gonna start my own club. Okay, leave and start your own club. And a lot of people leave, start their own club, and sometimes those clubs succeed and they have a, you know, a good club, or sometimes they have that high moment because everybody's excited and everybody, you know, is down for that club, and, you know, everybody agreed with that person or group of people for whatever reason that they left, and they take a whole crowd of people with them. But then when reality kicks in and people realize, like, man, this club ain't growing, or man, it takes a lot of work to make things happen, and a lot of stuff hits reality of things that they didn't realize was happening behind the scenes, and their club stagnates or falls apart. You know, and it's sad, but it starts rivalries with other clubs. It's like, oh, because they chose to leave one club, now they started their own club. They don't want to talk to this club because they left the club. We don't talk to them because, you know, blah, 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 blah. And then, you know, especially when you're in a city that's a big, small city like Jacksonville, 9 times out of 10, when car meets happen, majority of the clubs are going to show up to those car meets. Or when events go on, major events go on, most of those clubs get drawn to those events. And you know, it just draws negative attention. It just you have that negative energy. People just feel uneasy. People can't enjoy themselves because they feel like they have to look over their shoulders because they don't know if something's gonna happen. You know, it's just I can talk about this all day long, and this video is already going on long enough. So, but that's one of the negative aspects of being in the club, is those club rivalries. The last thing I want to talk about is just the drama. So I'm gonna try to keep this short and sweet, but every club, and I want everybody to understand this, every club has drama, no matter where you go. That's just like looking at, from the outside looking in. Generally, when drama happens within the club, when people go out to events and the club actually shows up, generally that drama does not get carried to that event. People try to handle that drama in the, you know, on a more personal sense, in a family sense, in a group setting. You don't want to carry that into a public setting where you're either hosting an event or you're supporting an organization that is actually hosting that event. So, but every club has drama. Every club has drama. It's all in the type of drama that you're willing to put up with. You know, some drama is petty, some drama is big. It's every club has drama. That's enough said on that one. So just choose wisely and pay attention, and don't get yourself wrapped up in that drama. Make your own opinions of the club, and form your own opinions of the club and the people that are in the club before you officially join the club. Actually one more thing, and I didn't even write this one down. I just thought of this one. The last part that I feel is a con of joining a club, especially for those that are in relationships, marriages, the stigma of car clubs, or the people within the car clubs, either, you know, women or guys sleeping with each other, whether they're in relationships or not, or going out and, you know, doing things behind their significant other's back. The reality of the matter, and I have to say this, and I'm gonna be 100% transparent, it happens. Yes, it happens. So if you have a significant other that is interested in joining a car club, this is where you need to have trust in your significant other, not to disrespect the relationship that you're in with them. Point blank, period. Because you cannot control the actions of those people around them. You cannot control the environment of those people that they put themselves in. You cannot go to a club. You cannot tell them not to go to a club. People are just trifling people out here. Some people do not care if you're in a relationship or if your man or woman is in a relationship, and they will approach your man or woman. Some women or guys are attracted to people in the car scene. You know, they drive nice cars and stuff like that. People are attracted to that. That's just the nature of being in a car club. It's that attention. You have to have trust in your significant other, or trust in yourself, that if you know you're the type of guy or girl that, you know, you love that attention, but you don't know how to control yourself when you get that type of attention from another guy or a girl who doesn't care if you're in a relationship or not, regardless of how many times you tell them, regardless if you have a wedding ring on your hand, engagement ring, doesn't matter. If you cannot control yourself and say, you know what, I'm just gonna distance myself from this person because they're not getting the fact that I'm in a relationship and they're constantly trying to shoot their shot. If you cannot control yourself, or you feel that you're too weak to not fall into that and stay faithful to your man or woman, then the car club scene might not be for you, because majority of these car meets and car shows and all that stuff that you go to, you are going to be subject to other men, other women that are, you know, that are going to shoot their shot. So the negative, that is a negative, you know, especially if you have a man or woman that that you don't trust. That's something that you need to think about. That's definitely something that you need to think about. Oh, one more thing. Another con I'm gonna say for busy people, real quick. I know this video is long right now. For busy people, really think about this. Car clubs require a lot of time. There's nothing more upsetting, there's nothing more disappointing than having a lot of people in a club. You can have 50 people in a car club, but you only have 10 people or less consistently showing up to events, to fundraisers, to things that the club is doing to try to help build the club, you only have a few people showing up because everyone that's in the club is consistently busy. Not gonna go too far into that busy aspect, but consistently busy. Things always come up. You always have those few that, you know, when the fun things come up, like car shows or, you know, car meets, people are always available for those. But when it's time for an event that actually requires work, like community service and stuff like that, people tend to always come up with excuses on how they can't show up. But I'm kind of going off a topic right now. But every club deals with that. I promise you, every club deals with that. It's rare that you will find a club that is consistently, you know, showing up in numbers, and I'm gonna say at least 80% of their membership showing up to majority of the events, whether it's a fun event or an event where it requires some work, you know, like community service or something. But the con I'm talking about is it requires a lot of time. If you're a person that does not have a lot of time, you're constantly busy, your job schedule just does not, anytime the club that you're interested in, anytime they do stuff, you're always working, like legitimately working, then maybe you need to find a different car club or really evaluate and say, you know, is the car club scene for me? You know, is it really worth it for me to be in a car club? Because you don't have the time, you know. So that's the last con I can think of right now. So if y'all know any other cons of being in a car club, make sure y'all hit my comments below and let me know. I will post another video sometime in the future of what it takes to have a established and successful car club. What it takes from my experience. And this is just my personal experience. I'm pretty sure there's many people that will tell you different things, but from my experience, I've been in the car club game now for I'm gonna say about, I actually took a 4-year break where I wasn't in a car club. When I had my first car club, it lasted a year. Then I took a 4-year break when I got stationed in New Orleans. And then when I got here, this is my actual second car club and my last car club, because this club is definitely the fit that I've been looking for. But I will go into details on all that of what happened in my first car club, why I decided to leave my second car club without airing out anybody's dirty laundry or anything like that. Just personal reasons of why, you know, what I feel, what it takes to have a successful car club. So I will be posting a video on that soon. But again, if y'all have any cons, pros and cons, make sure y'all hit the comments below for those that are in car clubs, or for those that are no longer in car clubs and, you know, you just want to share why you're no longer in the car club scene. Make sure y'all hit my comments. But that's gonna wrap it up for today's video, y'all. If y'all like the contents of this video, make sure y'all smash that like button. Again, subscribe as always, comment below, and hit that notification bell so y'all don't miss any exclusive content that I'm going to be dropping in the future. Again, like I said, we passed the 200 subscriber mark recently, so for those that are subscribed to my channel, I thank y'all so much. I really do. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are my motivation. So, but that's gonna wrap it up. I hope y'all have a good day, YouTube.